of the City Tourism Tax Board to order. And first thing is discussion action on the minutes from April the 18th. Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a second.
Connor? Okay. Charles? Juanita? Connor? Norman?
Aye. Next item is discussion and action on the March financial report, which would have been the previous one, the one we did not approve.
And this is the same thing that I sent through the email.
Yeah, that was probably the worst example we'd seen of it, where
Yeah.
what we'd approved and what the checks being
But we
issued
caught
were
one
not the same. Yeah,
The check wasn't written out yet, so
yeah,
everything worked out for a reason.
yeah. So we need a motion to approve the March.
I'll move. It's been a long day. I move to approve the financial statement from March.
Second.
Juanita?
Aye.
Charles? Connor?
Aye.
Norman?
Aye. Next is discussion and action on the April financial statement, which will be the one directly in front of you. You can see that, and the third quarter is typically the worst quarter, but wow, it was really bad. And I know there was still a hotel or two that hadn't paid yet, but still, it's really bad.
At least not as much as the rest of them, we're recording them.
Yeah, the others had kind of leveled out with the previous year, but that one does not look good. But Terry had told us, when we asked her, that she had said that the previous months had been good, and then for some reason, after the first of the year, it really dropped off. She's definitely right about that part so far. I hope that definitely turns around.
There's something that usually goes on.
Well, it's usually the worst quarter from December 31st to the end of March is usually the least revenue. And she had said that the hotels had emptied out a lot, and she wasn't sure, why. But they really that is the worst quarter we've seen in quite a number of years.
Hopefully that's not reality.
Yeah. Hopefully that's just an anomaly there. And
There's
there's still 2 hotels that haven't paid that are on there, Hotel 3 and Hotel 5 that haven't paid yet. So it's going to get a little better than that, but from the look of the hotels that were on there, they're all going to be down substantially. Probably looking at a best case scenario, $18,000 to $20,000 quarter, that looks like. Yeah. So, but June is typically a really good quarter. As we get into the springtime and people are staying for graduations and things like that. Tournaments, harvest, which isn't going to be much people staying for harvest, but hopefully it turns around. There's a good quarter coming Jody, you want to fill us in on
Oh, sure.
your part of it?
Sure. Okay, starting off, we have $639,271.68, $1,000 for the promotional video, $29,690 to the Back to You marketing, $4,000 to the Alva Chamber of Commerce Northwest Oklahoma Visitor Center, $15,000 for the Alva Fire Department training, $26,300 to the Big Cruise and Car Show, $14,250 to the 2018 Essentoga Arts Festival, $15,000, Wings Over the Prairie Air Race Classic, $6,000 to the Northwest Oklahoma Junior Rodeo Association, $2,500 for the Advertising and Promotions Committee, $5,000 for the 22nd Annual NWOSU Football Golf Tournament, $3,750 to the Alva's Crazy Cool Boulevard Cruise, $6,000 for the concrete pad for the Big Cruise and Car Show, $500 for Future, $2,500 for Standing, which leaves us with $507,776.68. And we did get the Back to You, the partial payment paid, that shows on there. And then I had Norval sign the concrete pad, so that will be off for the next meeting.
Thank you.
Yes.
Any other questions on the financial statement for this month? Charles, anything? I'd entertain a motion to approve the financial statement for April.
Make a motion to approve the financial statement for April.
Have a motion? Charles seconds.
Juanita?
Aye.
Connor?
Aye.
Charles?
Aye.
Norval?
Aye. All right, next item is discussion and action on Destination Oklahoma Group Tour 2018 for Red Carpet Country not to exceed $1,756.
In the theme of filling the hotel rooms, I am here to ask for the tourism tax to pay for an ad in the Destination Oklahoma publication. You guys did this for the first time last year. So this is, the ad will be in the 2019 publication. This one is the 2018, and I will pass it around. We started this last year. We were approached by Red Carpet Country. This booklet goes out to the tour operators. So that is the bus tour operators throughout the United States and Canada. And those are the people, and only to those people. They're on a specific mailing list. And these people book bus trips throughout the year. And so we partnered with Red Carpet Country and put an ad in. As you guys know, we did get a bus tour last year. In October, we were actually at the Runnymede across the street. They visited the Great Salt Plains, and they also went to the dunes, and they actually had lunch here. So we were part of a tour. Now, they did not spend the night, which is ultimately the goal, but this was the first tour, I hope, of many. And so I will pass this around. This is our ad from last year, and we will redo the ad for this year. Use the new logo, new tagline, but
Just out of curiosity, do you know how many of those they send out?
the circulation is 2,500 is what they told me. So they're not sitting anywhere, they're physically mailed out. And the woman who put on the tour that came to town was from Tulsa, and she had received this. So, and I have an intern this summer who is anxiously would love to redesign this and work on that, which we're really excited about. And I'll come back to you at a later meeting on the Red Carpet Country Guide, which is the visitor's guide. You guys have done that for years as well. But again, this is a new publication as of last year that we were approached and thought this would be be good for Alva, and again, it's paid off, and we hope to get something further away, but we'll see.
Did they give you any idea of return on as far as statistics?
No, I didn't actually ask. I should have. But the woman said that, the director of Red Carpet Country said that was a goal of Red Carpet Country last year, is to start working on pushing bus tours for our region. And so this was Red Carpet's goal, and so that's why we pursued it. I can find that out for you, though.
Looks like Red Carpet's paying, full page here showing $2,500.
And we get a discount because we're part of Red Carpet Country.
I didn't look, but what other towns around us have ads in them?
Go to the red section.
Enid. And Enid.
Ena and Nina?
Yeah.
Ena and us?
Yeah,
Okay.
but they had a whole section to talk about the red carpet.
And this is just based on the tours that will bring them in, or is it?
So this book there's a specific mailing group of bus tour operators that they have gathered their information, and this is distributed only to those people that I guess are the people who make decisions on tours and put together tours throughout the U.S. and Canada.
I don't think I saw anything in the ad that it talked about the murals in town. Did you?
We didn't on this ad. We, at that point, went with the center of it all and focused on the state parks and the fact that they could stay here and eat here and shop here and then go see those. That was the mission, I guess, behind that ad, or the theme of that ad. We certainly can look into that for our next one.
I moved to approve the request for $1,756.
$56.
Okay.
We have a motion to approve the request for $1,756.
Second.
Second?
Connor?
Aye.
Juanita?
Aye.
Charles?
Aye.
Norm?
Aye. Thank you, Val.
Thank you, guys. Okay, I'll let you hold on to it.
Next item is discussion and action on the Alva Rotary Club 4th of July Spectacular not to exceed $20,000.
Well, here I am again. This year's budget proposal is basically identical as last year's. The event, since we've gone to a full day, has stayed pretty static in its cost over the last 2 or 3 years, 4 years since we moved to the park. Integrating the swimming pool, the city park, having that venue to shoot from has worked well for the 4th of July for us, and haven't had any major complaints or problems or issues since we've moved down there. We, as a club, generate from sponsorships and donations for the 4th of July, $10,000 a year, plus or minus. $1,500, just depending upon. It was a little bit better during the oil field boom days. However, we've had a little rougher a couple of years, the last few years, with donations being down with a lot of the businesses that were here not being here anymore. Last year we made a switch to a different fireworks company. Absolutely had probably one of the best shows we've ever had, and it was quite a bit cheaper. So from a product standpoint and cost-wise, for many years I sit here and said we went from $7,500 to $8,000 to $10,000 to $12,000, and we were buying $15,000 worth of fireworks a few years back, and it literally almost can't spend the $12,500 because there's too much product that comes down that we can't actually completely integrate and use. So the request, that is one of the items that might actually come in below that, just because we have been able to really get the best bang for our buck for this new company out of Kansas that we buy our fireworks from. The rest of the meal preparation, the events, the prizes, all those things have pretty much stayed the same for the last few years. It would be our request that if the committee so felt to have that same proposal from last year be for this year. Fundraising has been going, well, I'm coming to you a little bit late. It's almost June. We try to come to the committee a little bit early, but this year we're getting a little late. But the good news is we're already, our target of hitting that $10,000 amount, I think we will, on our side from the fundraising, I think we'll be able to get there early in May. We were already at the $6,000 range. And I think that we'll be able, through sponsorships and stuff, to meet our target from there. That is the events that the portions that we actually ask you guys to contribute or pay for, obviously, is the fireworks. That's always been the tradition in the past that before it became a bigger full-day event, that's where we were at. We do provide free meals, free everything that day, so we are feeding both people from Alva and those who come in and visit and travel to come see the fireworks. I know our in-county presence is really significant, and that has a lot to do with a lot of the giveaways and prizes and meals and things that we do. We're always fall victim to what day the 4th of July falls on. This year's a Wednesday. It may be the worst day, it may be the best day, depending upon how you look at it. There aren't as many people that leave for a 5-day weekend, so if they got, or leave early to go from there. So we get a little bit more of a captive audience, but then at the other side, we have a lot of people who travel a long ways for on a Wednesday, 4th of July. So this is one of those years where the crowd changes, but the numbers kind of end up staying the same. It just, we have a good local pool when it comes to that. We do provide this. There's no admission for the pool that day. That's part of our budget, so no one's charged for swimming, eating, drinks, water, fireworks, anything. There's a fishing derby that's been successful in the past. It also depends on how much water's in the pond and whether it's been completely fished out before we get there, but we do have efforts to try to make sure that there's still fish in there, and the rest of it's pretty much the same. So I would love to answer questions and not talk too much. It's probably a record for me right there. That's about as quick as a summation as you get.
Lawyers are supposed to let them talk,
I just feel like I talk too long at this one. Other places it's fine. People start looking at watches, things like that. So.
How many people did it bring last year?
You know, the only thing about it being completely free is you can't, there's no good way to track how many come. So we have a system where we give out tickets. And last year's system of giving out tickets will not happen again because we gave out thousands of tickets. And so when it came time to draw for stuff, people had stuff like that. So we tried to keep it in. Originally, we would get a ticket for every event that you attended, so we could see how many people came to the meal, how many people went to the swimming pool, and things like that. It's really, people come in the morning and leave. People only show up for the fireworks. It's really, there's no great way to see it. I from a shooter standpoint, when we're down there, when I make my last pass, I look and see where everybody's at, and I can just tell over the years since I've gotten acclimated to how well we fill the park. Last year was a really good showing of people because it was on a a Tuesday, and people had just come back to town, I believe, and some things like that. So it showed some of the daytime activities. It also depends on just how hot it is. So I have no great numbers. We have estimated numbers in the past. I decided this year that it's easier for me to say. I don't know exactly. We run head counts and see, people. There are always hundreds of people at that. I think sometimes we may have, more than 1,000 between, or thousands if you get to who all can see it from where we shoot from. But trying to get them down into the park, trying to make them come in and enjoy the stuff all day long, has worked with the prizes and the meals and the events that we've given out through the day. And this could all not happen because of rain, or this could all, or storms or whatever. So we hope that we have, or just it's too miserably hot. But I think by adding the pool in, that helped change a lot of that as well. From 2 to 4 o'clock, there's not a whole lot going on down at the bottom of the park, which is happy for me because I'm still down there wiring fireworks. But they're all up at the pool and having a great time. There's pool games and there's prizes and all that too. So it is probably, I will admit, and it's probably not the best tourism generating event that you guys have. It's something that the city, I think, has to have, because if you don't do an event like this, if you don't have fireworks, if you're not willing to spend that money, you're going to lose people to other places, and that is the biggest deal. We already deal with, and Carmen and Tacoma and Alva do it fairly well by choosing the 3rd, the 4th, and the 5th, so that people have an opportunity to go down to Tacoma, and Tacoma's not trying to compete with everyone else, and that Alva's had a pretty good stranglehold on the 4th for a while. And I know that from a fireworks stand, we're able to do better than what our competitors to the north, who used to compete with that. And then Carmen's got their stuff on the 5th usually. So I'm afraid that if we didn't do this in some form or fashion, it would be more of an exodus out of town for, imagining dollars not staying in Alva being spent in Alva, because they would go to places people would spend their day elsewhere. So it's I wish I could say that we were good enough to just drag people in from 100 miles away to watch our fireworks. And I know that we've had some people who have come from Wichita, and we have had some people because of the car show and then finding out about our stuff and then come and enjoy our day. So I know we get stuff out there, but it's not the easiest thing to keep a head count on, or to try to prove that it's the best tourism generating dollar. And really, this is an expensive event, because I'm asking to spend $12,500 on something that's going to last about 25 minutes. There's nothing left when it's done and it's over. So that's hard to imagine, because you're just almost burning money out there on the ground. But it serves a very good purpose for the holidays and for patriotism and everything else that day, and it gives us a good event here in town. So.
I can tell you that from my time of being down in the park running one of the kids' games, there are more kids every year, it seems like, because we've had to expand from double what we were doing on the kids' game that I do,
And it would
just because there were so dang many kids.
It'd be awesome if someone else would come to this committee, because I'm the worst person to ask. Because about 6 o'clock that morning, I'm in the north end of the park, and about midnight or 1 o'clock I finally get to leave, and I don't get to leave that in down there because it takes that long to safely deliver, set up, and make sure that fireworks show goes off the way that it is. So I'd love to say that I spent a lot of time down at the auction, the White Elephant auction, or the other events, but that's what the rest of the Rotarians do. So I do believe, though, that since it's been down there, we found a good home for it. And once you get people trained to come in there, it's easier to get more and more people, and the kids know about it, and people start talking about it. And my kids come home and mention it because their friends have said, well, we'll definitely see you on the 4th, even though they're out for school right now. So, I mean, that's because they've seen my kids down there, and they know that they're involved. So it's a good event.
I can't imagine Alva without it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a small hometown tradition. It's been around forever, really. I mean, it's just something that I can't imagine if we didn't have it, what that would be like. Everybody would go out of town.
And it's just so expensive. And I'm just happy that we've been able to really try to drive back. That fireworks cost still went up a lot for a while, and it was just blame the import from China, all this stuff, whatever. And then since I finally found this company, and Steve Showalter, and they have done everything that we've asked. If I asked them if I asked him to come to this committee meeting and explain why to spend 12, and I thought he'd drive right down here from up around Dodge City. So it's or Hutchinson, I think is where they're at. So I think that we found a good match for what we have for resources and trying to keep costs down, but still have one of the. I'm gonna say I'm probably bragging, but I really think as far as Northwest Oklahoma goes, I don't know that there's anybody, because of the help from tourism, for the equipment that we have and stuff like that, that can really compare anywhere size-wise with what we do with the fireworks. I mean, there are towns that probably spend more money, but I think we may still put more showmanship into parts of it to make it last, and we really stretch out our buck pretty well. And we had some good predecessors that help guide us down that path. So it's a lot of work and a lot of fun. I interrupted you.
No, it grows every year, and you said that, you know, people don't necessarily come from 100 miles away, but, you know, with especially the last few years, how much it's grown. You know, why eventually down the road, why wouldn't they? You know, why can't it be something like that? As far talking about future and the goals for this, you know, it's done better every year. So that's what I would say, is it can be something you can say it's the best fireworks show, and not just beating Kiowa or Carmen, you know, farther than that.
I used to be the one that drove 15 miles to Kansas to go up and sit right down there on the lawn right next to the hospital and be that close and experience that. And it probably was an age deal and not so much of an entertainment deal because of just getting out of high school, and that's kind of where everybody went to do all that. Well, when I came back and I signed up to do this, I think this will be my 11th 4th of July. That means that's 11 years that I haven't gone anywhere on that day, and it's hard from a Rotary organization to maintain this event and do this, because you're asking the Rotarians to be there every 4th of July, and families want to go to the lake, and families want to take their kids and go someplace else. And when you have one that falls on a Saturday or a Sunday or whatever, you can turn it into a long trip. So not only do we have to try to find new blood to help us keep this event going, but you know, the same kind of things, we try to add new things, but it's hard to keep the manpower just to keep this going. And trying to just maintain this level has not been easy just the last few years, just with normal turnover and burnout to the organizations that we have. So I like this model, and we've got it worked kind of down to a science that, you know, these events, whatever, we wouldn't have any problem with growing it any more than what we could, you know, in the future. It's just, at some point, I think it's going to have to be a collaboration of another organization saying, hey, we want to come in and do this. We've had creative control on it for a long time now, and our main goal has tried to be, I really don't even like the idea of having a donation bin down there, just because I don't want someone to not come up and have free hot dogs and snow cones and all those things just because they feel like they might not be able to afford it, or not feel like that when this is just a good way to let everyone have a good, safe place to celebrate the 4th and have a full day of activities. It's expensive, but it's a good price to pay, I think, for what we were able to provide.
Are you eating 3 times 3 meals a day?
It is not 3. The breakfast deal in the morning kind of worked. It was almost, people would come. There is technically still a little bit of a meal in the morning, but all we really have are the runners early, and so those things that are associated with the run, I don't call that like a full meal. So there are things being provided, drink and food wise, throughout the day. The 2 big meals is all that we really just had. That last year's meal was, again, I don't even get to go eat, so I think it was a pulled pork meal or something like that. I think, and with all the fixings and we've been actually doing it. It's been working out really well. We've actually been serving pizza at lunch. The hot dog thing can switch, and then when I really didn't like that. Nothing about the 4th of July to me says pizza, and that's nothing against pizza people, but it's worked out really well for this event, just because of gets them all in there and gets it out and gets taken care of. So the powers that be that aren't me are stuck with that, and I believe it's still in that pizza world. So that's just another thing that's purchased and bought here in town that is served, and give a business an opportunity to have a large bulk order and and get something out there. But again, it's all still free. So.
If there are no other questions, I would entertain a motion.
I move to accept gosh, now I'm having that day. I'd like to make a motion to accept the amount for $20,000 to the Alva Rotary Club 4th of July Spectacular.
Second.
Charles? Juanita?
Aye.
Connor?
Aye.
Wendell?
Aye.
Thank you all once
Thank
again.
you. Remarks and inquiries by the Tourism Tax Committee. Charles, anything you want to say about the new arena?
That's changed since last month.
Okay.
We should have more.
Okay.
Well,
Actually, I did jump over item 7, and I'll jump back to that, which was discussion and action to appoint Connor Martin to the Alva Live Committee, or from the Alva Live Committee to the Advertising and Promotions Committee of the subcommittee of this group. So he's agreed to do that. So
Congratulations, that's a good deal.
we need a motion to do that, you bet.
I so moved.
A second.
Juanita?
Aye.
Charles?
Aye.
Wendell?
Aye.
Aye. I had a speech prepared, but I'll save it.
Okay. Well, you and Dr. Tucker are the two people from this committee that are on there. I do drop in occasionally to see, that there's not a lot of partying going on and stuff. And I'm always disappointed. Never a good party going on.
See if I can talk him into it.
Better invite me.
All right, does anybody else have any items of discussion or anything before we adjourn?
When these other two hotels that haven't paid in,
I can ask about it.
yeah, let me know. I'd be
Yeah,
interested.
I was
in
thinking
what
about
they do.
doing that. I will do that.
And since this is not anything that we would have to take action on because we've already approved it, I don't believe, but in the past, but it actually looks like we may have somebody to do the audit that we approved a long time ago. The city has new auditors, and they are submitting a bid. We're supposed to submit a bid for the audit that we approved for this committee. So, that's just a point of interest there, but of information. So, as soon as we know more, we'll bring that to the board. What's going on there? The city did call and ask if we were, as a committee, still interested, and I said, it's been approved, give us a bid, let's see what we got. All right, if there's nothing else, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
So,
We have a motion.
Second.
stay here to make them if you want to.
I didn't know if we had any extra comments.
Juanita?
Aye.